Hi, this is Ms. Nicholas. I'll be your instructor for this online Anatomy and Physiology 1 course. I want to take a few moments and go over the course with you, as well as to cover some of the content in the syllabus and show you how to navigate around your Canvas course to access your content. When you first log in, you'll come here to the home page. And of course, you're not going to see this big pink bar at the bottom. I am in the student view right now so that I can show you what you will see rather than what I see as an instructor. So here you have your welcome to your course, and it says that you need to complete, which means to open and read or watch the videos for all of the links in this welcome section before your content section will open. So here is where you'll find your content for each chapter, and if you click the drop down menu, it opens all of the content for you. Again, this is set up with a prerequisite so that you have to complete all of this in the welcome area before the content will open. Alright, so on the left hand side you have your navigation menu, which will take you to your e-text, the different modules, which are simply the different chapters, access to your grade book, discussions, and also a link to contact the Wiley Plus support group. So Wiley is the textbook publisher, and they put together the content for this, and we have sorted through and selected what we want to present to you in the online course. So this is, if you're having issues accessing Wiley or something goes wrong, that is not a Pensacola State issue, but it's related to Wiley, you would contact Wiley Plus support. Alright, so there's a link here for you to contact the library and have access to the resources, as well as quizzes. This is where your exams will be housed. Alright, so that's sort of an overview. Let's actually open up the syllabus now and go through and look at some of the main content. So obviously you click the link for syllabus and the PDF file will open. Here you have my contact information, my email address, as well as my office phone number and my location. My office is on the Pensacola campus in Building 17, which is located on Airport Road, just across from the entrance to the bowling alleys, Cordova Lanes. My room number is 1747. Please do make an appointment if you wish to come in to talk with me, because I do teach on 2 different campuses. So on Mondays and Wednesdays this semester, I may be on a different campus. Next semester it may be Tuesday, Thursdays. So always try to make an appointment, and that way you know that I will be here. If you happen to be on campus and you just want to drop by, feel free to do so. Alright, so the course information, you have here the prerequisites as well as the co-requisite, which is the A&P 1 lab. Now notice here, this course requires online testing. This is an online class. So your testing will be done either using Respondus Lockdown Browser with a webcam that will record you while you test, or you may schedule appointments to take your test in one of the on-campus testing centers. There are testing centers on at least 2 and I think possibly 3 of our campuses, but you will need to contact them to set up an appointment. The required textbook is the Principles of Anatomy and Physiology. This textbook will be good for your Anatomy 1 and Anatomy 2 course. You can purchase these from the bookstore, or you can purchase directly from the publisher, which is the Wiley Publishing Group. This is typically the least expensive way to publish. You will also, when you publish this, you will get online access to Wiley Plus. So the Wiley Plus is going to give you additional study tools as well as your homework for this course. So you will be required to have internet access, because for my course, your homework will be the Wiley Plus Adaptive Practice. So you will have this as a part of almost all of your chapters, and then of course your exams will be given online as well. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you'll use the Respondus Lockdown Browser which will lock down your browser and not allow you to go to a different website while you're testing. In addition to that, you must have a webcam that will record you while you are testing. If you choose not to use this option, then, as I mentioned, you schedule a test in one of our testing centers on campus. You need to make sure that you have a reliable internet, because if your internet goes out and you have missed your homework, it's an online course, guys. You know you've got to have access online, okay? So make sure that you do have reliable internet. Also, if you are taking an exam, you might want to make sure that you have a very stable internet connection and not rely on Wi-Fi for taking an exam. Your internet going out, your computer malfunctioning, or not having a computer available, none of these are excuses for missing work in an online course. Also, Canvas does work on most mobile devices, but I do recommend that you not use your mobile device, your phone, iPad, tablet, or whatever for anything that's going to be graded. It is okay to use for your textbook, but make sure that if you're doing something that's graded, you want to have a computer to do that work on. Alright, so here is the Canvas e-learning course companion website. If you are not on campus, or if the server's down or whatever, you can use this website here or here to get to your e-learning site. Alright. You will be required to watch lecture videos as well as complete your homework assignments for this course. It's going to take you several hours each week to study in addition to watching those lecture videos. If this was a traditional course where you came to class and you met twice a week, you'd be in class 3 hours a week. That doesn't include your study time. So if you're watching 3 to 4 hours a week of lecture videos, that doesn't include that additional study time, right? So be sure that you can give this course the time commitment that is going to be required for you to be successful. I do greatly encourage that you contact your fellow students and form study groups. A lot of times working together will help you to understand the content. And if you are having difficulty with a particular concept, or if there's something that you just need to talk to me about, please do contact me and let's schedule an appointment. Sometimes it may be that if it's a particular area of content, you can come and sit in on one of my lectures in my face-to-face classes, and that may help you to understand it. It is your responsibility to check e-learning as well as your emails because, again, in an online course, online is the only way that I have access to you. Alright, so let's talk about the important stuff. Students always want to know about the test and the homeworks. What do I have to do and how do I get my grade? So with your textbook, you're going to have access to the Wiley Plus e-text and the Canvas content. Almost all of the chapters will have an adaptive practice homework assignment for you to complete. Your adaptive practice is going to count the same as one test. So collectively, all of your homework is the same as one exam, so worth up to 100%, 100 points, right? So this comes out to be about 16.67% of your grade. Now, these adaptive practice assignments are homework. You can use your textbook. You can use your notes. The idea here is for you to engage with the content and to help you learn in a different manner than just watching those lecture videos. So be sure that you get these easy points. You only have to score 60% on the adaptive practice in order to get a 100. Okay, so every chapter, score 60% or score over 60%, and bam, you get 100 points for that one. All right, so be sure that you get those easy points. There is an Intro to Wiley Plus quiz that is in the welcome area, and that is due no later than January the 15th at midnight. So be sure that you complete this. It's going to help to familiarize you with the adaptive practice and the tools that are available in Wiley Plus. Bonus credit may be given on exams. Sometimes I just put extra questions in there, so a test that's worth 100 points may have 105 points worth of questions on there. Sometimes I give extra points if you do a really good job on a discussion or an essay type question on an exam. So make sure that you're always doing your best so that you can get those extra points. Testing, as I mentioned, will be given online. So whether you are testing in the testing center or you're using the Respondus Lockdown browser with webcam, you will access your test through the quizzes link, and they will be given through Canvas. All right, so here is a link for the Pensacola State Testing Center so that if you choose not to be recorded while you're taking your test, you'll need to schedule those appointments. I recommend that you schedule them as far in advance as you can so that you're sure to get a seat. Some of our testing centers have limited hours and availability, so be sure and get these testing dates scheduled as quickly as you can. Your other option, of course, is to test from home or wherever you would like to test from, but you must download Respondus Lockdown browser, and the link here takes you to the e-learning site so that you can download that browser. Respondus will lock down your browser, and in addition, you must have a webcam. Now, I have a trial quiz set up in Canvas so that you can test your computer, you can test your webcam, and the way that you're going to record your environment and all of the guidelines in order to be approved to use this option. If you do not complete this trial quiz by the 19th at 11:59 p.m., then you will not be eligible for testing using Respondus. All right, we'll talk a little bit more about what to do with those as we look a little bit more at testing and when I show you the quiz. All right, so what about this testing stuff? You're going to have 4 unit exams. Each one of them will cover about 3 to 4 chapters. And then at the end of the semester, you will have a final exam that is comprehensive. That means that it covers all the chapters from the entire semester. Your exams will be primarily multiple choice. However, you may have some images. You may occasionally have a short answer or essay. Now, when I say essay, I'm not talking 4 or 5 pages, right? I need a couple of good paragraphs. But take as many words as it needs. I'm not going to count your words to see how many you put there. Do a good job and answer all parts of the question to the best of your ability. Again, this is one of those places where I can award bonus points if you do a really good job. So each exam is worth 100 points, and you cannot make up a missed exam. You schedule when you want to take your exam, as long as you do so by the exam due date. You don't have to wait until that day to take it. You can take it anytime after the exam opens. However, once that deadline passes, you may not take an exam. So don't ask. You know the rules up front. The final exam is comprehensive, as I mentioned, and if something happens and you do have to miss a test, the final exam can substitute for that one missed test score. Or, if you've taken all your exams like you should have, we can use that final exam to also replace your lowest exam score. So say, for instance, you don't do well on the first test and you score 58. And on your final exam, you score an 80. And you've taken all of your exams. Then that final exam will score 80 for the final, and I will also replace that 58 that you scored on the first test with an 80. So the final exam has a lot of weight in that it can significantly increase your grade. The final exam date is listed here for you. Be sure that you pay attention to your syllabus each semester and notice what the exam due dates are and make sure that you plan accordingly. The grading scale is here. Each exam, as I mentioned, is worth 100 points. So exam 1, 2, 3, and 4 will be on those particular units of content. Then your final exam, also worth 100 points, is comprehensive. It covers everything. Your homework is worth 100 points as well, for a total of 600. I use a standard grading scale. 90 to 100% gets you to an A. 88 to 89 get you a B+, and of course you can follow along on that. Anything below 59% is a failing grade for the course. Attendance in an online class still has to be reported every 2 weeks. All of our courses here at the college have to report attendance. So if you fail to log in or complete your homework assignments or you miss exams, these will constitute an absence and can result in a failing grade for non-attendance. I do enter attendance into our system every 2 weeks. Be sure if you miss a deadline that you get in touch with me. Make sure if you miss your homework that you get in touch with me. The important thing is that I can log in and monitor or see when the last time you logged in was and what you accessed when you did so. Make sure that you're doing what you need to do and you will not be withdrawn from the course. The deadline for withdrawal from any class this semester is April the 2nd. After that date, you will receive a grade in the class, including zeros for any missed assignments. So it's important if you do have to stop work on this course or you can't complete this course that you officially withdraw so that you don't receive a failing grade. Additionally, you can drop this course or any course and add another course up until the 14th of January. So there's a short drop and add period where you can make any necessary adjustments to your schedule. After that period, you can only withdraw from the course. You cannot drop or add. The makeup policy is very straightforward. It's an online course, guys. You schedule when you're available to do things, right? As long as you hit the deadlines. So no test, quizzes, assignments, or bonus credit can be made up. If you miss a test, as I mentioned, the final exam can substitute for that missed test. However, you may only substitute one exam. Cheating and plagiarism, violate the code of conduct for the Pensacola State College and will not be tolerated. It will result in a grade of F3, failure due to cheating and or plagiarism for the course, academic dishonesty. Remember, if you are taking your exams from home, you will be recorded. This means I see everything that you do. Okay? Keep that in mind. All right, if you do have a disability, the disability statement is here. Please contact the Student Disabilities Office for any necessary arrangements or accommodations that are to be made. Once you contact the ADA Services Office, they will contact the instructor. Then you need to contact your instructors to have a conversation about your particular needs. Communication policy states that you are to email me using your official Pensacola State College email. Please don't email me from your personal email. I don't know who purplekitty14@yahoo.com is. However, when you email me through your Pensacola State email, I know exactly who you are. I do ask that you use professional communication. This is not an environment where you use text language. Write your words out. Use professional grammar and punctuation. Now, I'm not going to grade you on how well you compose a sentence, but I do expect you to behave professionally and to communicate as such. Equity statement, you can read. Pensacola State doesn't discriminate. If at any time you have any questions about this, our Executive Director of Institutional Diversity and Student Conduct contact information is listed here. All right, so here we have the schedule for the course. Now you'll notice I simply have week of class. Now, first week of class, you should basically cover everything in the introduction. You should go through your syllabus. You should do the first week's worth of content, which is Chapter 1. Second week, Chapter 2. Third week, Chapter 3, and the little bit of content we have from Chapter 5. Now, of course, you can proceed through this content faster, but you can only take the exam once the exam opens, and you have until January the 29th at 11:59 p.m. to take that first exam. What I recommend is move through the content at a steady pace. That gives you plenty of time to go back, look over the content, watch those videos again, and be sure that you are prepared to take that exam before you attempt to do so. You'll also notice here this does say that the instructor reserves the right to amend the schedule as long as I give you notification of so, right? So I've got due dates on here, but if something comes up, guys, we're going to be flexible and make sure that due dates actually reflect the time that you've had. I mean, if we have a hurricane, right, and the testing center's closed on the 29th, then obviously I'm going to give another date on that exam. All right, so here's what you will have on the first exam, and then second, third, fourth, and then your final exam. So all of the due dates are here. Make sure that you take note of these. Now, if you are going to schedule a vacation, you're going to take an extra long spring break or whatever, make sure that you notice these due dates and that you have access to take your exam by the due date. Due date doesn't mean due, D-O, right? So you don't have to do it on the due date, but you have to do it by the deadline. All right, so your final exam here is Sunday, May the 3rd by 11:59 p.m. Give yourself a few minutes to make sure that you submit each of the exams in time. So make sure that you have completed your exam and we'll have it submitted by the deadline. Here you have the dates that the college will be closed, which includes MLK Day and spring break.